This episode of Reppin' the State Line podcast with John, George, and Josh is sponsored by The Mortgage Dad. Working with George's team gives you access to an unmatched menu of mortgage programs and over 100 years of combined mortgage experience. Skip the stress, love your mortgage experience, and get home with George. Visit www.homewithgeorge.com. NMLS ID 443967.
Welcome back, baby.
Welcome back, everyone. Repping the State Line. Hey, I'm introducing us for once. Repping the State Line with John, George, and Josh. And we have a special guest with us in the hot pink over there, Mr. Michael Wright.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Michael Wright, thank you for being here.
Good to hang
today.
out with you clowns.
Oh, well, it's a unique situation that we actually get to meet in person. We don't have alcohol on the table, so that's our first. I thought
That's
we
a
were
first
gonna go
like
get,
Mexican and like
I almost
have
brought
the
some.
meeting.
well, I do have a flask. I have a flask in my bag if you really need a shot of whiskey right now. So,
I know.
all right, but because all good realtors have a flask. Because clients. No, but seriously.
Boy, there we go. That's a
All right,
great start to
yes,
this episode.
No, John, it's just, all right, for you listeners at home, we were setting up, things are running long today, it's late in the day. I've been on the computer all day and my neck is out, I can barely turn my head left or right. And Josh is just busting my chops from the minute I walk in the door.
It's a tough crowd.
What's that out there? I'm just kidding.
Well, right now I'm in a swivel chair, so I can turn to see what he's like.
Did you see me turn?
Check that out.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
sorry,
Let's
listeners.
bring it back.
All right, so
All right.
welcome to this week's episode of
Sorry,
Reppin' the State Line podcast with John, George, and Josh. Mike Wright is our guest today. Mike,
Welcome.
welcome.
This is our third and final
Conversation for the
conversation
season.
for the season.
Episode 8 is this week, and well, Mike, you're a friend of ours. We know you from the State Line Chamber of Commerce. You
You
work
bet.
for Hughes Resouces, but you also are here for another reason because you live in Roscoe and you care about our community, and you're part of a ticket that is running for office. And I wanted to have you on to talk a little
Sure,
about
thank
that
you.
as well. So, but why don't you give us a little background about who you are, what you do for a living, and then we could talk about your political aspirations.
Long story short, 25 years of television was my major career path.
Really?
25 years.
I did not know that. What'd you
Yeah,
do?
I didn't know.
9 different cities. I started out on air in Wisconsin, went to reporter, photographer, sports. I've done everything on air.
So this is old hat. I mean, our little
This is-
like makeshift
This
show is
this
pretty easy
this is
stuff.
Fun stuff, anything with video. Got to run news departments, and then started running TV stations.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I never knew that about you.
yeah, big city, Nashville was the most fun. Spent a couple years in Nashville, Tennessee, at an ABC station there. Closest was WTVO for 8 years. Ended up running the station in Davenport, Iowa, KWQC in Davenport, Iowa.
So
And,
what made you switch to human resource?
I was looking to get out of the corporate world. It was
Okay.
kind of hectic, kind of crazy.
I could agree with
Stressful.
that.
The
I've been there.
stories in television are vast and exciting and interesting. What goes on behind the scenes of,
Oh, I
of
bet.
a TV newscast. But essentially, I ended up looking for slowing things down a little bit and looking for more of a family-owned, more of a smaller style
All right.
job that, but I've got more going on the outside of work than I actually have work, so
You're busy.
I'm a
Well,
little,
that's-
I'm a little-
Let's hope your
I'm a little busy.
employer's not
Well, no, that's the hard
That's
thing
the
right now,
idea.
though. You work-
She's really welcome to that,
Right,
so,
you work for Hughes Resources.
yeah.
So which, for people that don't know, your company helps
Right.
corporations in
Yep.
the area find people to work at their facilities.
Yes, I
So-
basically do client rep. I travel to every single business you can think of. In Rockford, Dixon, Freeport, Monroe, and Beloit. And I'm driving all those,
A lot of windshield time.
a lot of windshield time between those places, about once a week to each branch, and I'm in a lot of different companies looking, who's hiring, who's not.
And basically, for somebody, if somebody is actually listening right now and needs a job, your information is
there you
gonna
go.
be, your information is gonna be in the description of the
Yes.
podcast, on social media, we're gonna have all
Thank you.
that there to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
So, but what types of jobs do you have available for
Our,
people?
our biggest is light industrial.
Okay,
That's our sweet spot. That's our home run.
so decent paying factory
A
jobs.
lot of people are paying really well right now.
Well,
They really are paying well.
I'll say I know that for a fact. My middle son was working at one factory in town doing some machine work, and
That's a big.
he got paid pretty well for a kid right out of high school with not much experience. And after a couple of years of doing that, another client of mine found out that my son did this and offered him a lot more money because he had just 3 years experience.
That's all you need.
And he went from $18 when they brought him on, he's at 22 now, 6 months later, working with them because he shows up every day on time and does his job. And I mean, the kid's 20.
Chicken dinner, man.
It's amazing, but he's 21 years old and he
That's
makes
how it
great
works.
money.
Yeah.
And he's learning a skill that he could use for the rest of his life working anywhere. So,
Really, that.
and I know there's a
that's all it
ton of
takes.
people looking for that type of work.
Yeah.
That's all it takes is you show up on
Show up and do
time,
your work.
do your work,
And do it well.
and do it
Well,
well.
like we say in our business, because we're in sales, number one way to be successful, loan originator, insurance agent, realtor, answer your phone.
Yep,
When someone calls, answer your phone. The number two way,
Yeah.
call people back
Call
if you
back.
can't answer the phone.
100%.
And I mean, that's all you need to
Communication.
do, communicate.
Communicate.
All you need to do.
Big
in
word, tough to
sales-
do.
Yeah.
That is very tough to do.
Yeah.
So,
That's what led me to my next career.
well, that's the thing. too, now. So
The communication word.
I live in Roscoe. I'm just taking over because like Mike, I love Mike, so if you guys want to jump in anytime, it's okay.
Before we get into that, we
All right.
gotta stick to our script.
Okay,
Yeah.
our
Let's
script.
recap, we gotta recap, and you're gonna join.
Recap what we did
Beautiful.
last week.
Yeah, what the last week was like, and then we'll get into the main
Gotcha.
state of the art.
Agenda
new thing
items.
that
Right,
we're gonna-
because then we have our agenda, but yes, we do have a certain thing. We talk about what we did last week, so.
Let's
Nice.
start with
Hey,
Josh.
I'll start off. I'm gonna start with actually today. Me and my business partner, Mr. Weber, met for lunch again today. And dude, what's Victory Tap? We had wings,
Oh,
and I had a 12 wings and onion rings.
the victory.
And man, I tell you what, I still think those are by far the best wings in town.
That's a bold
Victory
statement.
Oh, I am gonna stand with it for the size, the price, the flavor, and just the
Victory
overall experience. I'm going best wings
Alright.
in town.
I have not had Victory Tap
I haven't either.
wings yet, but my go-to, and I've had wings at a lot of places. But I've always said Lucha Cantina had one of the best wings in town for the flavor that they have in the wings, the amount of wings you get and the price. Hands down, one of my favorite places. So I'm gonna have to take that a challenge. We're gonna have to do a wing off.
Wow.
That's another Josh.
Is there,
$12,
At Lucha.
12
Yep,
wings.
that is.
is there,
Josh is a good friend of mine,
Yes.
Josh Binning.
I sense an episode for season 3.
I do, we're gonna have
Wing
a,
off.
we're gonna have a wing off.
Wing
Maybe
challenge.
season 3, we clue in and start doing best of state line, which we haven't really done.
You
Well,
gotta
we
go to,
haven't done
you gotta
that
go to
since
each
we-
place and
Yeah.
start over at each place.
Yeah,
So-
for sure.
But yeah, other than that, oh geez,
Weekend with the family, what happened?
last week, we had basketball again. Mason plays on a second grade team and the rankings came out. They were ranked third in their whatever state, Chicagoland area, whatever,
Nice.
for the third grade teams. His team's all second grade. Well, last weekend we ran into some all third grade teams. Let's put it this way. And we didn't lose by much, but you could tell the difference
Between
And
second
just
and third
the,
grade.
just the size of the kid
The men and boys.
between second and third grade.
Well,
Like, there was a team, and they had, we called them the Twin Towers because they had two Mexican boys that were, and my kid is a tall kid. He's 4'6" 4'7" as a second grader. These kids had him at 5 foot. And like, no matter where the ball came off the rim for a rebound, none of our kids could
We're
like
there.
reach it.
Before somebody else got it.
Because the kid, they just like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
that, we had that. I just worked a lot. My son had his first ever sleepover, so that was fun.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
Yeah,
He's
he's got
eight.
girls sleeping over
Eight.
at eight. Sheesh.
No, I remember 8th grade, like when they were
Nice.
8 years old, that birthday party weekend.
Yeah,
My oldest son had a group of his friends, and my younger son, they're only 18 months apart, so they had a similar circle. But I had 15 boys sleeping in my living room,
yeah.
Oh,
and I basically slept in the living room too to make sure, like, things stayed under control. But
Oh, yeah.
These 8-year-olds, they're crazy.
So yeah, he had a sleepover on
House
Friday,
come down.
and then Saturday he had a birthday party. And then we just kind of hung out at the house. My mom came over for a little bit. And then Sunday we were at basketball pretty much. And then we had basketball in the morning, and then they just started baseball practice. So we had
Nice.
baseball at night.
We had an awesome weekend. We had Ukrainian Christmas on Saturday that we talked a lot about last week.
Orthodox Christmas?
Orthodox Christmas, yeah, same thing.
AKA Ukrainian.
Same thing, but I will,
Festivus?
no, better than Festivus, but
We had.
I don't know if George wants to tell this story though, because his dad adopted me this weekend. And
I got pictures.
Dan and Irene said, I'm getting his inheritance. And he's been cut out of the will. I am the favorite son now.
I do have picture proof that George just sat there.
George
and
just sat in the
didn't
recliner.
participate in
did
Orthodox
participate.
Christmas.
I did.
That's not what the picture showed, George.
Well, one picture does not indicate what the entire day.
So I got
However-
roped into all the family games. Josh's parents like to do a lot of minute for
George?
minutes.
George's parents.
George's parents.
I know I am the better looking one, but we
Yes,
gotta
you
make sure
are.
George is included.
Oh, thanks, Josh.
But it was a fun experience. I again thank your mom and dad and the whole family for inviting me over.
I
Yeah,
have incriminating photos that I'm gonna post right now. Of the
if
games.
if he remembers this week, because he
No,
forgot to post the sushi.
Dude,
But you will add the he will add the sushi from last week's episode right now.
Okay, there you go. So we'll have
Two.
both
Yes,
the games and the sushi
yes.
pictures in the episode right now. Good.
But it was amazing. The food was as I remembered it. It's a couple things slightly different from a Russian Orthodox meal and the
Oh,
Ukrainian.
wholeheartedly, yeah.
Because it's different regions too,
Yep.
where you go and different family traditions, but the food was amazing. I walked in, I was just like, wow, this house smells amazing. And his mom comes over and goes, it's like being a Polish fest.
Yeah, it was
But-
a great time.
But it was a great time.
Was there a lot of sauerkraut?
There was a sauerkraut and borscht
Kielbasa.
and kielbasa and,
Kielbasa.
and,
Pierogi,
the orange
Pierogi.
ruffy and
Pierogi.
pierogies and
cabbage rolls.
and there was cabbage rolls and ham and there was, even though like traditionally you're not supposed to have the meats, you're only
Potato
supposed to be- it's supposed to
salad.
be
Yeah,
no
no,
dairy,
this
no
was like-
meat, but
Yeah,
they go all out. It's kind of like a
cranberries.
hybrid Americanized.
See,
Ukrainian
John totally forgot about Venice for the day. It sounds like.
I did, well, that was the thing though, so my weekend, Venice was up in Wisconsin Dells. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they had a gymnastics meet up there at the Kalahari, so Friday. Venice had a little bit of downtime, so I drove up to hang out with them for the day and wanted to spend the evening up there. And I do want to give a shout out though to my wife, the amazing director at Kid Spot for Kid Spot Gymnastics, because her team rankings just came out. And she has 5 athletes that are top 100 gymnasts in the entire country that are on her team. Her Excel Silver team is #1 in the state of Illinois for that level and number 62 in the country. And her Excel Bronze team is #1 in Illinois for that level and number 36 in the country. And that's my wife for the last 12 years. She's been running that Excel program, that whole thing. And I give her nothing but props and respect because
That's amazing.
She works so hard for those girls to give them the best gymnastics experience possible. And they're winning all arounds. Girls are winning medals. It's just like amazing. And my daughter is a coach with that team now. She's retired from the program at 17, and now she's an actual USGA certified coach.
Wow.
So she's coaching the bronze girls and the younger girls now, and
That's
they're just
awesome.
having an amazing season so far.
How about you, Mike? How was your weekend? What did you do this last week?
I've been sick lately.
Sick.
Yeah.
As we all move
That's-
away.
Yeah.
Not too exciting.
Did you go anywhere?
I'm
Any
sick with-
participate in anything
I,
exciting this weekend?
and tested 3 times, no COVID.
Man flu.
It could have been, I think I picked up something from my grandkids.
Well,
Dude,
yeah, it
that's
went
how it
around.
goes. My
They're-
my mother-in-law
Yeah.
is always sick, and it's from my kids.
It's,
Yeah.
the
And it is what it
grandkids
is.
had something, ear, throat, and,
Nose.
yeah, yeah. I'm not a ear, throat,
ENT.
nose doctor, but
Hand, foot,
Um,
mouth.
no, none of that, but after Christmas, sore throat I mean, some shed and tear, it was that bad.
Ooh.
Nope, I know what you went through, because I had the same thing a few weeks back, and it took a round of antibiotics for me to get off.
2 rounds
Yep.
that I
Wow.
went through, and,
Well,
I did get back into the pool this weekend, though.
I was gonna say you sound normal.
I sound better,
Yeah, very good.
back in the pool and back to some training and things of that.
Well, yeah,
nature.
because you swim, you run, you do triathlons.
Yes.
And you shocked the hell out of me at lunch yesterday when we had our business lunch meeting, because I had just assumed you were just like a year or 2 older than me, and when you told me how old you actually are, I was like, no friggin' way, now I feel like crap and I gotta start moving more.
Yeah.
So, cause, go ahead, if you don't mind, like, I mean, you
I'll
look
be-
great for your
I'll
age.
be,
so-
I'll be 61 next Friday.
So, I mean, like, when we talk about the 30, 40, 50 group, and I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna be 50,
Yeah,
you're only a
couldn't you
year or
be
2 older than
60?
me.
I am
Because-
60.
No, but
No,
you,
you'll be
Not
60
anymore.
You'll be 60 this year.
you gotta turn 60.
I
this
wish
year.
I could. I
Because if you
can't,
could, we could have had a 30, 40, 50, 60 episode, and that's what we would have called the episode. But we could call it 30, 40,
could.
50,
I got
51.
another week.
You
Don't-
could be
don't-
60 dot.
Let's not rush it.
But that goes to conversation with Mike Wright,
Yeah.
30, 40, 50.
I got another week and a half, so let's
60
not
dot,
rush it.
dot, 1, okay, that will be the episode,
Yeah.
so. You'll figure out now at about 15 minutes in what the title actually meant.
Yeah.
There you go. So, tell us about your latest venture. So, how did this come about? We all know that you're running.
The
for
latest
Roscoe.
venture.
Roscoe Trustee.
Yes.
Yeah, it's, it kind of steps back from what my dad and what several people have told me. If you want to bitch about something, you got to do something about it. Otherwise, you're just bitching about it. Essentially, our subdivision ran into an issue in Roscoe, about a new development, that came up. Essentially, we didn't feel like we were listened to. We thought it was pretty much a rubber stamped project approval that was already voted on, done with, as many people, think. So we felt,
Disenfranchised.
yeah, we really did. We kind of felt, I don't want to use neglected, but we kind of felt kind of blown off, kind of not, the main thing is I don't think we were listened to.
Well, considering the subdivision you're talking about and the project, it is a lot of townhouses to be built. And it's a final stage of development, but then they also had the other development going on behind your subdivision that was all slated
It's a
10
big,
years ago.
it's a big area of development. We weren't against development. We were just against this type of development.
Right, because to
We
put
had-
multifamily housing basically in with no infrastructure to take care of it.
It's
That was
a
part of it.
it's a lot of development, and it'll be a lot of new families moving to the Roscoe area. And with Roscoe being as small
Mhm.
as it is, I mean, that's a
Well-
huge,
The biggest thing is there was no real impact test done for the traffic on this part of the road. You know, I mean, it's
That is-
Roscoe Road,
that's been
Roscoe Road,
done.
Old River Road.
Now,
It's a heavy traffic area now. It's a county road, though. It's a county highway. So it's one of the last roads to get plowed when we have snow issues. And I know this guy, I live in Chicory Ridge. Mike lives in the next subdivision west of me. We have a big townhouse community right now, right across the street from me on Roscoe Road. And that's 90% rental properties, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with rentals,
we're okay.
but
Right.
it's not very well maintained a lot. Now, I believe First Midwest Group now owns it. It was a different company that owned it before, and they're doing improvements and they put up fences and they're keeping it cleaner and taking care of it. But this development is supposed to be for individuals to be able to buy townhouses. But they haven't they were supposed to be really high-end townhouses for the area, like build property values. And now, because of construction costs, they're saying they're gonna build a lower grade than what even exists now in Roscoe. In the existing ones that were built 15 years ago. So that was an
Wow,
issue.
that's not good.
The school was Rockton School for grade school,
That's the big one right there.
and they don't have the infrastructure to take on all the kids for this new development. And it's tough because when we want a traffic light or we want a stop sign put in, like
Yes.
say up by what is the golf course up there? I forget the
Atwood.
name, by Love's Road, where the accidents keep happening.
McCurry,
We need a huge,
yeah.
oh. We need a huge, oh my, why do you open your phone up?
Yeah, well,
The,
I'm like, I'm in the middle of a thought and he shows me a phone and we just saw there's some breaking news
sad.
that's very sad that
very,
just
very
happened.
sad.
And you're not gonna even hear about this till Friday, so you already know, but a woman was critically injured in a shooting at Pinion's Food. Just within the
Well,
last
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
That's,
So
right down
that's,
by Mrs. Fisher's Chips.
well, we've been talking about
We do
Pinion's
a
a
lot.
lot. We get,
we do a lot of our stuff that we get
Yeah,
when we do kind of our sitting and sipping stuff, all
Pinnance.
come from Pinnance.
I was there at lunch the other day,
Yeah.
it's one of the best places to get food. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
till it runs out.
until
You
they
gotta
run
get
out.
there early.
We
When it
got,
runs
we
out.
used to take lunch at like 11 o'clock
You gotta get
to
there.
get in there.
You gotta
I was-
get there.
I was reciting on
Yep.
a house down the street.
Speaking of, if you, there's a, ooh, I don't remember the name of it, there's a bakery on South Alpine. And it's very similar, they make specific, some of the best cronuts and unique pastries. And they literally open, and if you're not there,
Then they-
they're out of all the good
On
stuff.
South Alpine.
Yes, and I'm trying, I wanna say cherry something, cherry donuts, maybe?
Maybe.
I'll figure it out.
You'll find out and make sure.
Well, let's not.
Well, let's get back
Yeah,
to the
let's get back.
conversation we had
Sorry
before.
about that, but that's it.
In all essence,
So that's a huge impact thing, that news article, right?
we got major blowback from the Rockton
It's
School
huge.
District because they can't handle all the kids that are gonna be coming into the school district. Long
How
story
many
short,
family homes, how many?
there's a subdivision going up with, I believe, 80 to 90 permits that will be for that. That's off Gleesman.
Right,
And then there's about 138 to 144 units that are gonna go on the
units,
corner.
so then each building has 4 units to it,
Correct.
and there's gonna be like 140, so we'll just
So
say
it-
on average. That's
you
a
know,
lot of families,
That's a lot coming in in a short.
which,
period
don't
of
get me
time.
wrong, as a realtor, I love seeing development as long as it
Yeah.
is, well thought out and planned.
That's
And our
what- that's what
infrastructure
we're
can handle it.
talking
I moved to Belvedere in 2001 during the height of the construction boom.
about. Mhm.
And by the time I left Belvedere in 2006 to move to Roscoe, and I mean, I've been a Roscoe resident now for 17 years. We had an infrastructure problem in Belvedere because they kept developing without anything. Schools were overcrowded. That caused
It's gotta be
that
thought
caused a
out.
lot of crime issues, that caused a whole lot of other issues that nobody thought
Yep.
of. And increases in fees and taxes and everything else, and people started fleeing, and then they built the new schools. And they stopped the construction, and now the schools are
Whoops.
sitting empty
Yeah.
in Belvedere. Because now there's no new people
Nothing's
coming
up.
in.
Yep.
They built it too late, so to plan this properly, I understand
You know,
we need housing, we need
We need it, no
affordable,
question.
we need affordable housing, we need housing that people can afford to move into, that's good, safe and secure
Right.
for all people. But we also need to plan our developments so the infrastructure can handle that development, if that makes sense. As a realtor, that's one of the things I'm passionate about, helping people find a place to live. And in good areas with great schools, and we have all of that in Rockton
yeah.
and Roscoe, but it's
So
just.
The main concern we had was the lack of communication, and I don't wanna throw out buzzwords, but the transparency was negligent. It's especially these days and times when we can communicate with people
Instantly on your phone.
instantly. We didn't feel like we were listened to whatsoever.
Right.
So the change is, and we just went through an instance with a garbage sanitation issue up there that everyone kind of blew up on. Nobody knew about it, and whoa, what's going on?
Not until the day the contract was up.
Our costs are going up now.
We actually got our bills before the village
The bill
even
came up
voted
before
on,
yeah, that was
the approved.
a mistake that Waste
Yeah,
Management
item.
cleared up, but it was kind of a hanky situation. But what we're saying is why not communicate with the people about that? Why not hold a public hearing or a public informational session one night outside of a regular meeting and just get people's input? Let them speak out.
Isn't
They're-
that the
they're-
standard protocol though?
Not now.
No, but that's what it should be.
You can go to the public hearing and
There's always
speak.
public hearings, but they're
There's
not
always
very
public
well.
hearings. They're not well attended. But our point is
Make
What?
a special
Thank you.
situation for this.
that's what
Look
I'm
at the
saying.
Bears.
You
Look at
know-
the Bears in Arlington Heights.
Yeah,
They held a specific town hall
yeah.
In
Invite
Arlington
those people
Heights.
in there.
where everybody came.
Make them part of
They
the
talked
situation.
about it.
Yeah, make them part of the.
Because that's gonna be a major
That's-
impact
Yeah.
to what's going on.
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, if there's a major accident on Bridge Street, there's no way to get it over the bridge. You have to go all the way up into Rockton and come across down Hononegah Road, or you gotta go all the way
All
south
down to
and come
173
across
Latham.
173 in Latham. That's the only two ways. So to put all these extra houses in an area which should have development, but there's no other development there. Police presence, fire department,
Is the
you know-
cart coming before the horse, is what we
Correct.
said.
the plumbing infrastructure's not there. Now, by
Absolutely.
2030, we're gonna have a 4-lane road
It's
there
supposed
with
to be a
turns.
4-lane road.
So hopefully
Shouldn't that
that
go
would all
first?
work. That should come before the development goes in, but they wanna build the
Cart
houses
before the horse.
and then do
The
this.
next question though is the units, right?
Yes,
Are they gonna be, is there gonna be like a leasing company that leases them out or rents them out? Or is it gonna be like a lot of these in our town where John goes and buys a
He could
whole
buy a couple
4
of them.
unit,
I could
and
buy a
then
whole
rent-
4-unit
and
rent
then
each
rent it
out,
out.
You
yes.
could go buy a couple, I could go buy a couple, and.
I could buy one
That's
or
what we
two
understand at
units
this point,
and
is
rent
it's
it.
not gonna be we don't know for certain, we haven't heard the final plan, but that could be a possibility
Is
that,
there any look of low income
Which I would,
section of it?
no, and you know what, though, there should be something like that put in as
in
well,
Illinois, you
because.
have to do that. There's gotta be a
You know,
percentage
And a
that,
certain percentage of all new
available.
development has to be housing affordability.
Absolutely.
And I'm a huge proponent for that as well, because
that's
the
fine.
kids should be able to get into the better schools and everything. That's why we all moved to where we moved to, or else, well, you go to private school. You know, I mean, that's how it happens. It's,
Tell me about
So yeah, and
the team. So this is a package deal, correct?
We decided to do a slate, there's a gentleman by the name of Mike Sima, who lives in Promontory Ridge. He ran up against, if you all know about Hidden Creek, the wedding venue. That's a neighborhood out there with some rather expensive homes that, and I've witnessed it, I've heard it on many a nights when they have events out there. You can hear music reverberating off these homes.
now, we've spoken about Hidden Creek, because that's where they have the
Yeah.
winery, and we've talked about going there for wine
Yeah.
tasting.
Some parties, yeah.
That-
But they're outside of the jurisdiction,
Yes,
and the music and noise ordinances.
there's no noise ordinance for that currently at this point in time, but Mike ran into some, in his entire subdivision, they have a HOA out there, ran into. They didn't think they were listened to as well. We've got a gentleman also named William Babcock. He is in Hawks Point subdivision as well.
That's where you're at
and
as well.
that's where I'm at. And Carol Gustafson is a 12-year trustee right now.
Oh,
on the
in
board.
Roscoe.
She's
Roscoe.
currently a
She's
trustee.
currently a trustee, and we are behind her and some change as far as the village president goes.
So Carol Gustafson
Gustafson.
is running for village president. She's
Got
a
it.
trustee now. She's running for village president,
You're running for
Trustee.
trustee
to take Carol's spot.
Carol's spot will be open.
Mr. Babcock is running.
for trustee.
And we're running against two other gentlemen that are,
Got it.
So-
So it's a, is it a?
So we have a
So the
seven,
four of you?
well,
or-
basically Roscoe is weird. We have a 7-person board. It's a president and 6 trustees.
Mhm.
And 3 trustees and a president get elected this right now. And then in 2
2
years,
years.
3 trustees get elected. So the
It
board
never-
never changes all at once.
So
So there's always some people
so
with
there's always
experience.
one time where it's a president plus and then.
Right, every 4 years it's the president plus 3, and every 2 years, which
it
every
is
4
3.
years, it's
Got
just
it.
3
more
trustees.
So the 4-year term
And-
overlapping.
If 12 people run, it's the top 3 votes that get it. You're not running as a party, you're not running,
no party
we don't do
affiliation.
party affiliation, it's always
Correct.
nonpartisan. But it's, if 10 people run for 3 spots, the
It's
top
not
3
three
that get the
vote
votes get it.
Okay,
So that's why you run a slate.
There's 3 of us, 6 people right now.
6 people total running for the
6.
3 spots.
2, yes.
Yes,
6,
Or is
7.
there 2 slates or just 1 slate?
We are hearing that that 3 people have joined as a slate.
with
There
the
are
current
7 now.
president.
I'm sorry, there are 7.
Got it.
So
Okay.
we heard, once we came out as a slate,
They
I think,
formed a slate.
3 other people decided that our best move might be to be a slate as well.
Well, and the problem is though, on the actual ballot, it's not gonna say vote this slate, vote that slate. You have
It's
to
just-
know each individual's names.
We've already
So-
had the lottery, we garnered up enough petitions, we went to the exact filing date that it opened. There were 4 of us there, we held a lottery. We hold, positions 1, 3, and 4 on the ballot,
All right.
For the 3 trustees.
And when is this election?
April 4th.
April 4th.
April 4th, and then for the president, it's just Carol and the current,
Yes, sir.
the incumbent
Yep.
that are running.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So that's different, so you're one of the 3 trustees
Right.
on your slate, and that's positions 1, 3, and 4.
So if Carol doesn't win president, she can't be a trustee no more.
Correct.
Correct. She's giving up her spot as trustee to run for
To run as
president.
president.
And now I've met Carol on numerous occasions. She is a straight shooter and she's one of the few people that are on the current. As the current trustees that will actually take a phone call from anybody
Yes.
and will try to work with whoever she can.
She'll shoot
And
you
find,
straight.
they'll try to find a solution. She'll tell you why things go the way they go. And she doesn't BS. She's an older lady who's been doing this a long time.
Yep.
She's lived in Roscoe most of her adult life, if not
Yes.
all of her life.
Mhm.
And she just loves the community. And so that's why she serves this
Good for
community.
her. No, I really appreciate you. I didn't know any of this, so I don't live in Roscoe.
No,
obviously,
because
so
you're in
this
Rockford.
is
and you're in
really
Rockford,
interesting
so
to
it's-
hear and understand. You know, being the president of the Stateline Chamber.
Sure.
That kind of learning this dynamic is very important. And that's one of the focuses of the chamber for this year is I want to build closer ties. with
Well, another slate
It's a
that
must.
I know something that Carol's spoken to me about. Is because she knows that we do a lot of work and we're with the chamber, all 3 of us are with the Stateline Chamber, is to have more. Chamber involvement with what goes on in the community and to have the community help with the chamber more,
Absolutely will be.
a great partnership.
April 4th.
4.
We're less than 3 months away.
Yes, it's right around the corner.
So awesome.
We're already out campaigning,
So when's your,
Facebook pages.
when are
up.
your
website.
events? I know you have some stuff coming up and we'll
Yeah,
have
we-
information on all of that as
We
well.
decided to, in our theme of actually listening to people and caring about what they have to think. We've decided on what we're calling listening sessions that we're gonna hold. Wednesday, January 25th at Jessica's from 6:30 to 8. Wednesday, February 15th, 6:30 to 8 at Sophia's. And then Wednesday, March 15th at Firehouse Pub, 6:30 to 8. We invite any Village Roscoe resident, come by, stop by, we'll listen to you. We want to hear your ideas. We want to hear your input. It's your community.
And on the
We
same
wanna
note,
hear from these people.
would you want, even if they're not residents, I know they can't vote, but they're maybe business owners
Hey,
in the community that don't live there?
If they have an idea that's for Roscoe, why not?
Okay,
Absolutely, they're a big part of the
That's
community.
exactly. Listen to that, I love listening to ideas. And you know that, we've talked about 100 ideas.
Yeah.
That, you know, if they've got some input, people just want to be heard. Come on, listen to them. They're, you know, you feel some of it's good, some of it's bad, but you got, you know, it's still out there. And I think, especially these days and times, people don't get the sense that anybody gives a, you know what, anymore. And
That needs to change for sure.
it does, it's,
Well-
these people live here, you live here, you know, it's part of your deal. It's, speak out. It's, you know, it's good, it's bad.
So I would love to attend. I'm not even a
well,
resident.
I'm definitely gonna, well, you're a business person in the
Yeah,
community.
For sure.
President of the Stateline Chamber of Commerce,
Absolutely.
which is located in Roscoe.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You're also a loan originator who helps people buy these houses and
In
townhouses that
Roscoe.
they're doing in Roscoe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one of the things I promote heavily in the neighborhood I live in is like, I'm your neighbor. I know about this area. Let me help you like find a great place to live. So I appreciate you stepping up and doing this, Mike, 'cause-
And we can drop in the third graphic of the show if you want.
yes,
Yes.
I have the,
Here.
I have the picture and I'm sending it to George right now.
Man, this is gonna be a fun editing week. We
Yeah.
got Lots of graphics.
Well, good thing we're recording early this week, so you can get all the graphics taken care of.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Here,
Oh,
Sorry.
there's the picture, and I'm sending it to the repping page
There you
right
go.
as we speak.
Sweet. That's awesome. I appreciate you
It just,
coming.
it's time and, you know, it just, we just got, you know, and like I said earlier, we're kind of bitching about some things and if you're gonna do that, then it's time to step up to the plate and take a swing. So that's what we're gonna do.
Well, I commend you for this. I know 4 years ago, I was complaining about a lot of stuff going on in Roscoe too, and somebody pushed me to said, you should run. So I pulled my paperwork to run for village president, and then I found out there was like 6 of us running. And I said, I stepped back. And then when it all came said and done, there was only one person that actually got their paperwork in time, and they ran uncontested. That's our current village president. So,
Yeah.
you know, and I've met the man many times, and I don't have as many issues as a lot of other people do with him. I just wish he would have governed a little more inclusive and listened to people a little more, and that's why I support your slate personally.
That's why we're doing it.
You know, as a resident of Roscoe for his last 17 years, I feel we need a major change and to get some fresh blood on the trustees and someone with a lot of experience, 12 years experience as a trustee, as our village president. I think that's something our village needs to grow into the future.
And all of the managerial, I mean, shoot, I did not know any of this background before.
Well, Mike's expertise from business for his
Serious,
entire
yeah,
career,
Yeah.
how would that not help us?
A
Absolutely.
big background with, you know, major budgets and hiring a lot of people and just communicating with a whole lot of people, and
Getting things done.
I like to get things done.
That's awesome.
That's, you know, and it's their community, it's not the village's community, it's their community, so let's spend some money wisely, let's get some things done. And I'm not down on the community whatsoever, I've been there 28 years. But when we get excited about a Starbucks, if that's the only thing we're getting excited about, we need a little bit more help then.
I know there's a whole corridor in Roscoe that they've talked about development and bringing in more business
Yeah.
to. And what do we get? We've gotten a Thornton's and a Wendy's, and we've gotten a Speedway so
Yeah.
far. And that entire,
And a Starbucks.
and a Starbucks.
It's
Yeah.
tough, it's a
Starbucks is
tough road to hoe,
Yeah.
but it's, and I think our group, and we've been working on this for the past few months. we've gotten some big time endorsements, and we have the ears of these people, Congressman LaHood,
No,
Sosnowski, Severson, and Chesney out in Freeport, and we've got some, and Cabello, John Cabello, newly elected.
well, with the redistricting, that hurt a lot too, because
Yeah.
my area, Roscoe, my representatives were Joe Sosnowski and Severson.
Yep.
And neither one of them represent our area anymore, but we do have
Severson a little bit,
a portion.
portion on the
He's
east side.
East side.
Yep. But we have the ear.
But
of
I'm on
these
the west
people.
side of the river, so
Yeah.
but I have John Cabela now, who I've known for years. I've worked with him down
Yep.
in Springfield with the realtors, so I know he's gonna do good
Very
things for
Yeah,
us.
we have their ear, and we're gonna do a little bit of fighting for some things for Roscoe.
So,
That's awesome. Well,
Get a little
I
piece of that pie.
appreciate you coming on and sharing
Yeah.
the story.
Oh, thank you for
Sharing
having
your
me.
story and sharing these developments in the Roscoe area. I think
Yeah.
this is important. I'm sure a lot of our listeners or viewers are from that area.
Yeah,
They
spread the
don't,
word.
may
We're-
not even know.
We're
So-
energized. We're ready to go. We wanna go in swinging.
definitely.
A little plug though, I do a lot of condo associations. So, with that being said, with
If
the
there
new
is one.
development,
If the new development's a
If-
condo
if-
association,
We don't know if it's gonna be. That's part of
I
the
would,
issue.
I would hope,
That's what we would.
well, see,
I would hope.
and I'm not usually one for homeowners associations, but when we have townhouses and condos, I believe they are a necessity.
Mhm.
Because you have multiple people owning under one roof.
You want the
You have-
same people plowing those streets
Right.
and those,
That's what we're talking
and
about.
those driveways, right?
Yes.
Every time. You don't want
Right.
this person, that person.
You want
Three
lawn
days,
care
3 days
taken care
later,
of, you
that
want-
that long it's mowed, 3 days, no.
Nope.
So that's the key, and
Cover
so,
it. Take
but
care of all
that's,
of it.
that's some of the stuff that was
That's what
never
we're
even
saying.
spoken about. So I agree with you on that.
Totally.
And
Now, as far as like a development like Chicory Ridge, where we have so many houses, I would never wanna see a homeowners association, and in that, I think each
No,
individual.
I also,
homeowner-
correct, but I
that's
also
a
think it's
personal-
nice if, we don't have it here in Rockford, but I've seen, cause I've said in terms all over. Those, like a neighborhood like Chicory Ridge, right, where they have a community center that has a pool or
Right,
a game room or this. or
and I
that.
would love to see a development
And
like
then-
that
and
anywhere
then,
around
right,
here.
Park, yeah.
And then,
community
then
center.
you could see, okay,
Bring it.
well, homeowners association, cause you know, you pay your
Your dues.
$20 a month, whatever it is, just to upkeep that, right?
With
to
the
make sure-
Chicory Ridge where they had where they have the pond, that would be a perfect place to build a community center with a pool and other stuff for the residents of there, and then
But
Chicory
for,
would have
but those
something.
developments that are being talked about going in there, the only way they really run smoothly is with an association.
Right, for sure.
We agree.
All right, well, now we want to wrap things up by kind of talking about what's happening this weekend, coming up here in the state line. This is Friday
Nice.
that we're releasing. So what's going on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday in Rockford, in the state line area?
Well,
I'm gonna go back to something I sort of touched on, and I'm gonna
Okay.
plug them because I forget. But I don't know how we got on the topic, but it is so good. So it's called Banana Cherry Bakery, okay? And it is on South Alpine, and they are only open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday mornings. That's it. So if you're watching this, your best bet is tomorrow morning.
banana,
Cherry
cherry,
Bakery. On Saturdays, they open at
Ah.
9, and on Thursday, Friday at 7:30. And I don't know if anybody listening has ever had a cronut. Have you guys ever had a cronut?
yes.
No.
It's a croissant donut. So it's a donut, but
Can't go wrong.
airy and super light like a croissant. They make the best that I've ever had, hands down. And they run out pretty quick. So go early when they open.
Well, you guys know that, cause didn't you guys do like Donut Fridays or
Yes,
donut?
every
something?
summer we do Donut Fridays. When the kids are off and my wife's off from school, then we do Donut Friday and we try different areas. But we learned about the cronut at Disney. Disney has cronuts, and at Epcot, at a certain stand, they sell cronuts, and we found love and found this place, and unbelievable. So if you haven't tried it, give it a shot.
All right.
That's my plug for this weekend.
All right, well, I'm gonna throw a couple of things out there. I was talking to Mike about this, knowing that he's an avid runner and does triathlons and everything. The Shamrock Beer Run 5K is coming up in March 18th. from noon to 3. And this, I signed up. I'm actually signed up. I'm paid. I'm doing my first 5K. So you guys are gonna, I'd love you guys to join me. But you go to, this is benefits the Nicholas Ritschel Foundation. He was Reichel, okay, Reichel. He was diagnosed with a rare cancer at the age of 18. And it was about a week before his 18th birthday, and about a week after his 21st birthday, he lost his life to cancer. He lost his fight. He realized, and his family realized, there's a ton of services for children with cancers. And at his age, in the bracket he fell into, there's not enough resources for the young adult. There's for older people with cancer, there's for children with cancer, but there's no resources for those
younger
those
kids.
18 to 25-year-olds that wind up with cancer, and to help them with their fight. And so they started this foundation. You could run or walk this. I'll probably walk it, but 3.2 miles of 5K, and as long as you complete it, you get 3 local breweries, craft breweries are involved. You get 3 3-ounce glasses of beer on the course. And then you get a 16-ouncer at the end of your choice from the ones you sampled. So there's some alcohol involved.
It's like the good old beer mile.
It's a beer mile.
Pretty much it's a beer mile.
It's a beer mile, but
It's at the Speedway.
it's at the Speedway.
So you're,
And it is $25 to sign up until midnight, Saturday, the 14th, and then the price goes up to 60. With that though, you get long sleeve shirt, you get a beer mug, you get a medal for completing, and plus the money goes to a good cause. And you can also do a donation there. So go to runsignup.com or look for Shamrock Beer Run on Facebook, and you get all the information. But I am participating in this for the first time ever. I think it's something to try.
Our first episode, season 3, will end of March. We may have to do a clip.
Well, we'll do a clip. If you don't run, come visit. But I'd say come do it anyway, just so we can get something. So that's one. Then a couple of things going on this weekend. Stateline Splendor Bridal Expo is Sunday the 15th at noon. It's at the Embassy Suites downtown. You can go to statelinesplendour.net, or you can find them on Facebook. You can still buy tickets for this event. I'm kicking myself in the butt because I wanted to have a booth at this last year, and I missed their whole registration.
In the Embassy Suites is owned by Hilton. Sorry.
Right.
When I said Hilton,
Right, I know.
people don't know.
But Embassy
Yes.
Suites is an amazing,
Yes.
if you have not been to
I
that
just-
hotel.
It's awesome.
I just say Embassy Suites downtown Chicago. Immaculate. It
The
was
best thing
awesome.
about staying at Embassy Suites, they always have the managers drinking hour where you have open bar.
Yep.
And then the next morning, it's always a cook to order breakfast, not a breakfast where they got the waffle maker out and you continental this, that, make it yourself. No, they'll make omelets, they'll make.
You walk up, there's an omelet
Yeah.
station, there's all this stuff, there's a
Yeah.
little buffet out there.
And
It was awesome.
we have it right in our backyard downtown. They have an amazing restaurant, like a barish restaurant on the basement floor. They have the rooftop in the summer.
Yep.
It's prime location, great. I've done it. I know several that have done it as a staycation, just get out of the house for a night and got a pool, amazing food.
If you book early enough, they do a 4th of July package where you can watch the fireworks from the rooftop bar, and it's only open to residents of the hotel that day. So you can go down, have an amazing
That's pretty
meal,
cool.
Yeah,
watch
the
the
bar's closed to
fireworks,
the public.
sit in the bar, and then have that breakfast at the next morning and do a 4th and 5th of July package and done. And it's pretty affordable for what you get. So
Oh yeah, with all that included.
with all that included,
Absolutely.
even for a holiday,
So John,
yes.
I want to do something, and you messaged me earlier or tagged me on Facebook on it earlier.
Yes.
I think we need to have. I've thrown this idea out, and I am a huge soup lover, and I could eat soup all year round. Okay, you can ask my wife. You can ask Mr. Weber, right?
Yeah.
Anytime I go to a restaurant, my first question is, "What is your soup?"
What's your soup today?
You can ask us that every single time we go out to lunch. What's your soup today, right? I think we need to have a Rep in the State Line podcast soup off,
Coops Soups.
sponsored by Coops Soups, baby.
Okay.
It's like the soup knots.
I think-
I'm thinking next season is gonna be.
I think we
geared
have,
around
I
Dustin
think we
City.
have an event. I think we have an event. And
What do you guys think? Why
we
don't
all
let's
make,
get some feedback from the listeners. What do you guys think?
and I think us three could come up with 4 or 5 soups that we make together. And we have a networking event and it's just soups.
Oops.
Well, maybe we just call that soups.
Soups.
Hey, are you going to soups?
You going to soup?
Are you going to soups? Are you guys gonna go to soups? Are you gonna go to soups?
I'm up for soup.
He's up for soups.
You know, we all
I'm up for the wings, I'm up for the.
Yep.
Hey,
Hey,
and maybe,
the-
maybe if we do it,
donuts,
if we
whatever.
do it in February, we could have a listen. ... soups.
We'll have to think. All right, guys.
All
Thank
Couple
you.
more, couple more items real
Oh,
quick.
couple more. Yes.
Disney on Ice is happening at the BMO Center. Now, when you're watching this or listening to this, you already missed Thursday, but Friday at 3 PM and 7 PM, 11 AM. On Saturday, the 14th, you've got 11 AM, 3 PM, 7 PM. Sunday, 11 AM and 3 PM. And then on Monday, the 16th is your last chance to watch it, and that would be the time to go. Bring the kids, 11 AM on Monday.
Martin
take 'em
Luther
out of
King
school.
Day.
Yep.
No
No
school.
Yeah, no
school.
school.
Okay,
That's why-
MLK. I mean, Disney on Ice, and for tickets for that, go to disneyonice.com. And then the last thing, if you want a free event for Saturday night at 8 PM, Detour Bar and Grill in Loves Park at 1920 East Riverside Boulevard. The Detour Comedy Night,
Ooh.
and it's free. Just go. It's a comedy night.
Oh, and what's the liquor store?
Everett's.
Everett's is having a whiskey. What was it called?
I don't know. You looked it up.
It's a whiskey night.
I have my notes for the show.
Oh, no. There's a whiskey night this weekend in Everett's in South Beloit.
Everett's in South Beloit. All right.
Definitely check that out if whiskey's your thing. It is my thing, so I am very intrigued by that one.
That's Saturday night?
It's on the weekend.
It's
I don't have it on-
sometime during the week. I think it's during the day, Saturday or Sunday. I don't think it's the nighttime event.
Right, right.
Cause they usually do like tastings like at noon or 11 down there.
Well, we appreciate, do all the YouTubey things, like,
YouTube
share,
podcast.
comment, podcasty things, like, share, subscribe. Whatever floats your boat when it comes to your source of entertainment. We wanna thank Mike one more
Oh,
time.
thank you guys.
Microphone. Boom. Everyone, we're listening to this, we're gonna hear banging constantly.
Thank you guys.
And we will see you next week.
Have a good one, everybody.